Talented greatness.
I'm Paul McCallum, CFL kicker, Hall of Famer for 2022, and I'm here on the Only Touch Greatness podcast.
You got many CFL records, including longest field goal, 62 yards, only player to play against all three Ottawa franchises, longest kickoff in Lions history, tied for Grey Cup record field goals in a game at 6, and CFL record for most consecutive converts. What one is your favorite?
The 63-yarder. Well, so that's a bit of an interesting thing. The 62-yarder. What happened was when Richie Leone went and played for, Mark McLaughlin had kicked a long field goal, and I said to him, his was, I forget how far it was, but regardless, how they measured the length of the field goal, I was told was if it was 60, just over 60, however far over 62, you wouldn't get 63 unless it actually hit 63. So I was like, cool, I'm fine with that. That's what the league rule is. The league rule is. So then when I came to back to Saskatchewan in 15, we're playing at home against the Lions, or we're playing in BC against the Lions. Richie Leone, who took the job, he kicked a 55 or a 56-yard field goal, and it was just over. And I remember when they announced it, I'm like going, well, no, that's not the rule. The rule is you have to attain the yardage. Otherwise, it's the shorter yardage. So I was like, you know what? For me, it's like it's just got to be consistent because you don't want to have stats and stuff that are all skewed all over the place. So I called the statistician again, which now is a new one, and I said to him, I just want to understand this rule. And he says, no. He said, if you're closer to 63 than 62, he goes at 63. That's the rule. So, well, that's not what I was told. And he said, well, I said, but can you prove to me that it was closer to 63 than 62? I said, I can give you video footage, pictures. I said, I know, because I remember when I walked out to kick the field goal, I was always at like 7 3/4 yards. And as I'm going out there, I'm like, I got to put it back like 6-8 inches and I'll tie the NFL record. That's my thought. And then I thought to myself, no, don't screw it up and be greedy, because what if you miss, right? Because, the rotation of the laces and whatnot. So, I'm like 8 inches away from 63. So I told him that. He said, well, if you can prove that, he says, we'll change it. So apparently they're changing it to 63.
Okay. So yeah, my 62 then. Yeah, that's bad stat. Might have to fire my stats guy. I am the stats guy.
Call Steve Daniels.
Yeah. Do you have any cool memorabilia that you've collected over the years?
No. You know what? The only thing I don't have that I wanted was I don't have my Ottawa helmet. I've got all the other. Well, actually, yeah. Don't get me into that because that'll just piss me off. But I don't have the helmet. I don't have the helmet for when I kicked the field goal, my record tying field goal, because it disappeared.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know.
It's like some
equipment manager, I think, has it in his house.
Oh, yeah. One time, I guess I can say this now but one time Kato hooked me up with a nice game-worn helmet out of that closet.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe Ryan has it.
Yeah, I did. I got it signed by the whole team. Paul was on it and everything, and then I ended up giving it as a Christmas gift to somebody a couple of years, about a year ago.
Oh,
that's one person.
Show, Paul?
Pardon me?
Why do you think you're on the show? Ryan just wants to butter you up and get you to sign it. The helmet.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. I ran into Paul the other week at the Canuck alumni event out in Surrey, and that's how I managed to put this all together. And I was out there. I'm sure there's a buddy of mine that got your autograph there, Paul. And one day I'll get a chance to get it. But I had it before on the helmet.
There you go. No problem.
One name I brought up there, Kato. I have his niece in common, good friend. She's married to a friend of ours. Can you tell us a cool story about Kato?
Well, it's actually, I don't know if I might have it on my phone. Kato and Louis had a pretty interesting relationship. You know, anytime that, excuse me, anytime that Kato, not anytime Louis had to go for a field goal, the only person that Louis would allow him to hold the ball, because obviously I would have a hold, like a mechanical holder, but Kato had to hold for Louis every time that he would warm up or kick field goals. And then the other thing is, which Kato did for me, which was the only guy that did it, excuse me, was he would have my field goal or kickoff tee ready. So if I would go warm up the net, have my field goal pad, go kick a field goal, and as I was coming off, he would go grab my kickoff tee. So obviously I'm looking back at the other bench to see if I need it or not, but Kato would always hand it to me. So he was always a guy that would help me. And so the picture I was referring to is my rookie game, my first ever game. Kato would always help me stretch. He was always there for me. I mean, he's got so many other things to do, but if I ever needed Kato on the sideline, he was always there. I always thought, I don't know how. I mean, a lot of the equipment guys are like this, but I don't know how. If you asked them for something, or whatever you needed, whether it be game socks or for the game, like if the last practice, say, hey, look, these socks aren't any good from the ones the game before. Can you get me new ones for this? He always took care of you. You never had to worry that he wouldn't have the stuff you needed to do your job. So I was trying to look after him when I could, if something he needed, or if I was coming in to practice, I'll bring him some donuts and coffee or whatever. But had to slow up on the donuts later on.
Yeah, if you ever find that picture, we'll plug it in right here when I get to editing it.
Yeah, I've got it for sure in my phone.
Yeah. Did you have any, being a kicker, I mean, kind of like a goalie, did you have any pregame rituals?
No.
Nothing
that was
crazy?
No. And the reason, and since day one, and I'll never forget, the first game I ever played for BC was against Saskatchewan, and I took the SkyTrain down. I thought, you know what, it's a normal day, regular day, I'm just going to take the SkyTrain down. If I see a ladder, I'm going to walk underneath it. If I see a cat, hopefully it runs in front of me. I thought, and I always have, and I've talked about this with other kids when they're asking me about, because for me, it's all mental. Once you get to professional level, everyone's abilities are pretty close, but it's the mental that makes the difference. So for me, I never wanted to have a ritual, because what happens if something out of your control breaks your ritual? What are you gonna do? So the first Grey Cup that I ever played in, I was very particular with my shoes. I'd have a practice pair and a game pair, because I always like to have the same proper game shoes. But in '97, the first Grey Cup, I couldn't wear my kicking shoes because the ground was like ice with some dirt and grass on it. But it didn't bother me. I had to make do and go out there. Whereas, if you are a ritualistic person, you're going to be worried, oh my goodness, I can't do this, or this isn't working out for me. Oh, the sky's falling. So that was my mindset, and purposely not wanting to have rituals.
Makes sense, because you never know what's going to happen. A train could be on the road one day and anything. And plus, if you're living in Surrey, geez, driving in Surrey ain't the best.
No.